This is that a little bit big or?
Here,
That's okay. That's okay. Let's not touch anything. I don't want to. Especially Todd. But I do want you to know that that's what these days are about, and it's what the calls are about, and it's what phone calls from your sponsor sometimes is about, and it's what we're about is partnership with you. I mean, I hope you understand that it was an important decision for us once we had products and once we had a really, a big idea, and it was. The NutriSale was a big idea. That doesn't mean they always work out. But one of the things that my son and I wanted to do, and by the way, Drew is not here. I can't wait till he is. Then he can certainly speak to you from a lot of fronts that I in no way can, and he can also speak for himself. But Drew has been working with me in network distribution, referral marketing, multi-level. You call it what you want. I don't care. Everybody has kind of their own term that they like best, and it makes them feel better. I mean, the fact is it's a business that has no life without people, okay? And it doesn't have any life without people's desires. And Drew was with me since a young man. In fact, he even in high school, he started to work for me, and he's really, really gifted when it comes to the computer. He's also really gifted when it comes to design. Everything that you see with our logos and our labels and our brochures and our websites and all of that is. I love it. I like to know. Right now, I'm waiting on some things for Drew, and I can't wait to see what comes out in terms of design because it's always so fresh and young and exciting. And if you look at our colors, they're the hottest advertising colors in the world right now. And so, I even in Drew's absence, I always want to recognize him, but mostly. Drew kind of held us to doing something different here because he watched and he was with me through companies and he saw enough to where he didn't really want to be heavily involved himself, and he saw enough struggle. And we've talked about a lot of those today, really already with some of the changes we made, but we wanted a new paradigm for networkers. We wanted a new look. We wanted a new way to think about it. In fact, what we really wanted to do, if you take a look at opportunities, an opportunity can be measured by the size of its front door and the size of its back door. And too many times it looks like opportunities, if you get in the front door and people are, if it's not right, then the back door is really big because they come in and they leave as fast as they're getting in. What you want is you want a big front door and a little back door so that for those that need to leave, good riddance. But mostly, we wanted to design something where people wanted to stay for a while, where they wanted to stay maybe the rest of their networking life, okay?
Amen.
Where they wanted to stay and play our game because it's so much fun, and that's a lot said there, just so much fun, but also something that can start to measure up to the profitability of all the hype that they've always heard, okay? And so that's why we did the things that Todd talked about today, the free brand fan account and the 1995 and all of that. That's rewriting pages out of the MLM playbook. That's what that's doing. And we're not rewriting the whole book. There's parts of it that don't need to be rewritten. They're going to be that way, and they're going to be solid parts of the MLM protocol from here on, but there's things that need to be changed. I mean, how long have people been almost making money? How many of you have almost made money in networking before? How exciting is that? Just to get close to making some. Have you ever noticed that if you almost make it, you can almost go spend it? That's a turn on, isn't it? Almost spending? No, it's not. So we'd like to bring that back, and we'd like to make it for real for those that are going to put their time in. See, what we really want is your time. What we also are really serious about is the fact that we made a decision once we had these products to put these exclusive marketing rights in your lap. Okay, I don't think some of you really get that. I really don't think you know how big a decision that is for any company that wants to go forward in the marketplace with their products, is who they give their marketing rights to. I mean, I hope that that's one reason why you can go to bed and wake up excited every single day, is because you can't get these products anywhere else except from you. They're not available anywhere else. You have them. They're yours. If you're looking to start measuring your assets, there's one right there. You have exclusive marketing rights to the NutriSale products. And the only way that you can share in those is to become a brand builder with the other builders. We've handed that over to the builders, not the brand fans. Brand fans don't have marketing rights. They have a chance to order product at the best price. That's what brand fans do. That is our preferred customer. The marketing rights belong to all the rest of you who are brand builder and above. And that's the partnership that we have. We'll get products. We've got so many things coming your way that are exciting. And yet, I want you to know this. I'm not here today to talk about more things coming, and I'll tell you why. That's not the key to your success either, is what's coming out next. We have another product that I know all of you have heard about. It's called B-Max, okay? And this has been in the making for some time now, and of course, Fred's done a great job of getting people's interest and piqued and all of that, and the problem with that is we're not ready to bring that out yet, okay? And the issue there is all of a sudden you have people that are starting to froth at the mouth a little bit and get excited and go into, really anxiousness levels that I think it can work against them. The time to get excited about that is when you see it in the back office. Until then, we have so much power in the products we have right now that another product is not the difference maker for you folks. If you somehow think that it is, I don't mean to be the bubble burster, but it's not. It's not. That doesn't take anything away from how powerful this new product might be. But it isn't that you wait along for the right product and then you get successful. That isn't it. What we're going to talk about this afternoon, though, might hold some of the answers that will allow you to start to take full advantage of what we have already, of what people already have started to build fortunes with within the world of NutriSale. So we're really excited to partner with you. I have a question for you. What does retirement mean to you? Fair question? Fair one? What does it mean to you, Chris?
So many things, I guess. Opportunity to do things that you haven't been able to do.
Okay, because of time. Okay, what about you, Todd? I know you're a long ways from that. You're a youngster. You ever think about it?
Be able to do what you want, when you want, how you want.
Okay, what you want, when you want, how you want.
Freedom.
What does retirement mean to some of you?
Independence.
Independence?
Freedom from worrying about how you're going to make, you still got bills.
First of all of your answers are right on the money. I'm the guy that's probably least equipped to handle the word retirement, okay? I really am. I don't know what that means. Does that mean you suddenly do something different? Like when all of a sudden, they marked a date and he's retiring or she's retiring, then what happens? Well, I know this, sometimes people die, okay? Sometimes that's when they die. They shut down and pretty soon they're not around anymore. Have you ever seen that happen? Mm-hmm. All the time, don't we? Maybe that's why I don't know the word better, because I don't want to die right away. Also, I want you to know this. My golf game ain't that slick. Okay? It certainly doesn't need to be sashayed in front of people every single day, or even every single twice a week, or even once a week. Okay? If you saw how I swung at it, you would know what I mean. You would think that's misrepresentation to call him a golfer. Okay? This question is so good, I thought I would ask you twice. Okay? I want you to pull out one of the gifts I gave you, and I'm not hurrying through this. I want you to pull this out. Okay? I don't care about your other pads and stuff that you have. I want you to use this one. I'd like you to go to the first page, and I'd just like you to make a little note about this. This isn't to do right now. I want you just as homework assignment, because in a little while here, suddenly this meeting's going to be over, and then you're going to go to where you live and to your life, and we're all going to do the same thing. But I want you to put some thought on your own time into that retirement thing. What does that mean? What does that look like for you? In the ideal scenario, if you are looking at a time when you can retire, in other words, move away from daily responsibilities to where you can do it, what would that look like? What does that mean? What are you going to do with all day to do it? Okay? So that's and so I'm going to have you make little notes on this pad as we go through this day. That's one of them. Maybe retirement to some people means travel. How many of you want to do some travel that you haven't done? Okay? Why not, huh? Why not? How about more travel? How many of you have a lot of travel to do? We want to travel too, folks. When I said earlier, I'm just like you, more than you even could tell. I had my 3 pieces of pizza also. I do. I like to eat just like you do. I mean, I promise. I'm good at it too. Way better than at golf. That's my favorite sport. It really is, eating. So if you want to see me do my best, then let's go have dinner or something, okay? And that's why I lean on what we do so much. I mean, I would be bigger than probably a Motel 6 if I didn't have these products to help me not eat so darn much. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's crazy, but we want to travel. Maybe you'd like to, I hate this thing not fitting my, let's move this up. How many of you want to do this? Give something back.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And do something that's not at all about you, which is really important to start thinking all not about you, because that's what makes our whole business work. Is everything is not about you. It's about somebody else. There's a lot of people in need today, isn't there?
Yes, sir.
Be just like us to all get rich and help them out, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that. What if you could just do this?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's mine.
Just be debt free. How many of you have debt? How many of you want to be out of debt? What would that feel like? What if tomorrow morning you woke up and you had the only thing you owed was what was on the electric meter today? What if that? Well, how would that make you feel? You know what? As a group, if we collectively woke up and didn't have any debt, we would be so powerful. They wouldn't let us meet together in public probably, because we would get ready to overthrow something. No, that's how much energy we would have. That's how much power you would have. Debt zaps people. It zaps their energy. It zaps their creativity. Sometimes it even gets to their character. Debt does. It's overwhelming. It leads to divorce. It leads to grief. What if Nutrisale could get rid of that part right now? What if that was a starting point? That's not really helping. That's okay, Jim. I'm just playing. How old do you have to be to retire? Is there a set age? Now you have to define that retirement first and then say, okay, how old do you have to be? It seems today like maybe there's no getting off, is there? Like a treadmill that's so fast you really can't step off of it. What is your run time? I'm not just gonna blow by this slide because this is one reason why a lot of us are here. Okay, how many of you know what runtime is? Okay, what's runtime, Darlene?
Life expectancy.
How's that?
Or your life years.
Okay, that's part of it. Let me tell you how I learned about runtime. Funny, I learned about this when I was a youngster. I was probably, honestly, in my high 20s. I remember this. In those days, there was a magazine on the stand called Success Magazine. How many of you remember that? Mm-hmm. Pretty sure it was underwritten by W. Clement Stone, okay? Yeah. And every month, and this wasn't like the kind of magazine that you buy and put your company on there and then have all the articles about your, it's not one of those. This was on the rack. This was about success stories, and every month they featured somebody in just industry that was successful. And there was a man this one month, and his name, honestly, I don't remember completely, but I think the last name was Lazarus. And this man, tell you what he did, and the reason he was on the magazine is he's the one that created FTD. FTD is the florist thing that suddenly changed the whole industry, tipped it totally upside down, and exploded the business of delivering flowers. And the reason it did that is because this man created a scenario where you could now call other florists in other towns and have them deliver for you. And there was immediate communication, and it was huge. It was massive. This guy made a fortune, and that's why he was in Success Magazine. And it got to a certain point in the interview, and the interviewer asked this man, what did you think about when you're rising to success, when you were in the trenches working, building, what were you thinking about? What were the guidelines? What were you always aware of? And the guy said, that's an easy one for me. He said, the one thing I was always aware of was my run time. So the interviewer said, run time? What is it? What's your run time? He said, here's run time. He said, in my case, if I had been working in the flower business and something catastrophic happened and it all went away, whether it happened to the flower industry or where it happened to me, how long would it be before my family started to show a lower standard of living? How long would that be? That's runtime, folks. He said there were times when it was measured in weeks, how much runtime I had. Then it could be measured in months. He said today, as we sit here and do this article, he said, I think I have runtime for life because of his success. But he said, never ever did I lose track of where I was with my runtime. Okay, I'd like you to go to your little pad, and on a separate piece of paper, I'd like for you to write down what you think your runtime is right now. How long? And if you're one of those that has infinite runtime, good for you. I want to be on your team too. There's not enough of us, is there? How many of you would like to have unlimited runtime? Now, I know there's some of you that are maybe a little young to think about that. Let me tell you what, when you're in your 50s and your 60s and beyond, runtime's not a joke at all. If you're going to talk about retirement, where you go away and do something else with these grandiose years of your life, you need a lot of runtime, don't you? Mm-hmm. If you ever wonder why Dave and Katie Austin are doing this with you right now, that's one of our big motivators, folks. We want more runtime. We've had a chance to do a lot of outrageous things already. But that's in the past. That's yesterday. You really can't bank that today, can you? We have so much more that we want to do. And it involves money, okay? It involves a lot of money. And that's what this afternoon is. This is about money. You'll notice we're not talking about B vitamins here, okay? We're talking about vitamin M for money. That's what makes runtime go. That's what makes everything go. That's what, when you have a thought about something you'd really like to have, but you don't have enough, that makes those things go. So, your runtime, I want you just to be aware of it. I want you to think about it. And so take a look at, you know, your assets and where you're at. And if everything went gunny bag or you became disabled, what's your runtime? How big is your capital fund? How big is that nest egg of yours? How well prepared are we for this thing called retirement? How well prepared are we for this thing called we need unlimited runtime now that we're retired? What's the size of it? I don't know. Obviously, you're thinking, well, none of your business, Austin, and you're right. It is none of my business. Okay? Except to the degree that I want you to know this. If I'm going to work with you, if I'm going to sponsor you, I'm going to know those kind of things. I am. If I'm going to be the guy that's going to devote part of my life to making sure yours gets better, then I want to know what we're shooting at here. I want to know where we're at. Isn't that fair? We'll go into more of that in a moment. I want you to read this. Why don't we set something under there? Maybe I have a phone. I'll just set my phone under there. Is this mine?
Here it is. Here's your phone.
Yeah, here. Well, that worked.
Here, I can't adjust it.
We need that guy's wallet we were talking about last time.
I think you did it. It's up.
Oh,
Oh, is it good now?
ooh, don't mess with it.
It's come down.
See, look at that. Look at that, Will.
Poor guy.
I know.
That's good, Todd. I just wanted the writing to show.
Todd, move away.
Does this happen? Does this happen? Happens all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, about the time you're ready to load some money into savings, what happens? The transmission goes out. Kid needs a car. Dental problems, braces are in store. Hot water heater, something goes gunny bag, and there goes the money for the time being, and that chunk of retirement that could start working for you, creating more runtime, goes into immediate time, doesn't it? I threw this in as a bonus, okay? The rule of 72. You guys, all I want you to do in your little pad is make a note to check this out later. It's really pretty simple. The rule of 72 is a really simple way to see if you've got your assets and you know how much your nest egg is. Obviously, if you've got it invested, then you want to know how long is it going to take for it to double in value. So, if you take a look at, I don't care, let's say you had a portfolio that had $1 million in it, okay? And you can use any figure you want, it doesn't matter. How much is your rate of return? How much? If it's 5%, then divide 72 by 5, okay? What's that going to come out to? About 14%. Just a little over, 14.2%. If you're making 5%, that's 14.2 years it'll take for your investment to double. If you're making 10%, then it's only half of that. You divide 72 by 10. Now it's only 7.2 years, okay? And your thing will double. If you're making 20%, wow, you're really cooking. Now every couple, 3 years, boom, you're doubling that. Who is making 20% in here? Who's making 10? That's tough to do. Guess what the banks are paying? You're not. You pay them to hold your money these days. Have you ever looked at what long-term CDs are paying right now? How much are they paying, Todd? One?
Half?
Not even that much, huh? Not even
Quarter,
1%,
I think
folks.
that's I was a quarter.
Guess what? This rule of 72 also works for inflation. Okay? It does. It works for inflation. So if inflation was 4%, in 18 years, your deal's going to be worth half. Okay? So I don't think it's an accident that we're sitting here in a little hotel room in Knoxville, Kentucky, considering the possibility of getting something going on. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Did I say Kentucky?
It's in the
Why not, huh? There's a blue shirt over there.
In the neighborhood, that's right.
You know what? Any Knoxville will do, huh? If it's us together. We don't care where we are. I think we need this a lot. I think a reality check's something that we put off and put off and put off, but sometimes a reality check will cause us to go ahead and make some decisions to do some things. Maybe more than anything else, that may be one of the biggest benefits of days like today, because maybe when we're said and done, maybe it will help you decide to really, really get serious about what we have a hold of here. This is true also. Some of you are thinking, oh, the rich and the affluent are outside of this loop. Oh my gosh, no. Do you know how fast their stuff can go away?
Mm-hmm.
It goes away in bigger packages fast, doesn't it? I mean, take a look at what it takes to keep this kind of runtime going. Okay, maybe compared to yours or mine. So if all of a sudden something blows up and they're not able to do it, they can honestly, they can perish faster than you and me. Why do I have that slide in here? I told you we were going to do some training along the way here. Because I think sometimes we do everything but talk to the rich and affluent about what we're doing. Okay? I don't think we're comfortable with it. In fact, I think we're really scared to death about it. And the people that can help you the most are the ones on your list that you haven't quite talked to yet. The ones that can help you the most. They are.
Chicken list.
Huh?
Your chicken list.
Why is that? Why is that? I mean, some of you right now, if you wrote down, in fact, do this on your pad. I'm glad I brought these little pads. I'm going to do this more. I want you to write down just one or two names of people who you'd like to have in your Nutricell network. In fact, let's go with two people who are more successful than you that you'd like to have one of them on each team. I want all of you to do this. Two people that you'd love to have on your team, but you're really sure they're not interested right now. This fear thing's it's real. This fear opponent that we have is one that you're going to learn to take on, folks. And when you do, you're going to have so much fun with this. When you learn what a good friend fear really is. Without that fear, and that's why, by the way, this is interesting. I was in Fort Wayne, Indiana 2 weekends ago. And on Sunday, before we left, I was with Deb Parks and her friend Carmen, who drove down from Michigan. So Deb Parks, if you know anything about Nutricell, is one of our top earners. She's right up there with Jim Percival. She's right up there with the Whitneys. We've got some powerful earners in this room this weekend right here with this whole group. We have some of the best in all the land in Nutricell in here, and the Whitneys and the Percival and this guy over here to my left, Todd Sasser, all of them, way up on the leaderboard. So Carmen's not on the leaderboard, and I turned to Carmen at breakfast and I said, Carmen, I'm going to ask you a question, And I'm going to ask really all of you the same one. I said, Carmen, look, I want you to think about all the people that you've enrolled in Nutrisale. She said, okay. And I says, are they earning more or less money than you and your husband? And I said, if it sounds personal, then so be it. But I want to know, are they earning less or more than you? You should answer the same thing. What about the people that you've sponsored? Are they earning less or more than you? I'm betting right now that they earn less than you. Okay? Pretty much going to bet with that they're earning not up to your level. And one of the reasons for that is because you're comfortable, way more comfortable, talking to people at that level. And by the way, this doesn't have anything to do with how good people are. Don't get that idea here. Never, ever do we define how good people are by how much money they make or don't make. That's not what we're talking about here. I'm just wanting to make a point that what you and I are going to gravitate towards are things that we don't fear. And one of the things that we fear big time is rejection. And so if we go approach somebody in the community that's successful with our opportunity, we think we're going to get shut down. And you know what? What happens if you don't approach them? Is the result not the same as being shut down? Isn't it? Mm-hmm. The only thing is you didn't have to feel a little rejection, right? What if you didn't get shut down? What if this was true and they were concerned about it and wanted to get something else going on themselves? Keep in mind, these are busy people with big centers of influence that could probably put together a team pretty fast if they found something that looked real and somebody that looked like they were going to go to work for them to help build it. So, at the end of the day, if you want to look at all the people you've talked to and then look at the ones you haven't, then you'll know what you're afraid of the most. Okay? And this, again, you're in very good company. I mean, I'm not picking on anybody. You're in very good company. The bigger the prize, the more fear, huh? But what else is there more of?
Reward.
Reward. The chance for success goes way up when you're talking to people at a level above you. Success goes way up. What if they decide? And by the way, they're deciding every day in every way to get into Nutrisale. You just haven't talked to them yet. This is an old insurance statistic that is still terribly accurate today, okay? Dead broke. How many of you think this is a little bit sad? It's true, though. If somebody slips into disability today, it can wipe out families' assets, can't it? Mm-hmm. It can, huh? Where if they just suddenly died, then no more drain on all the family's assets. Wouldn't it be neat to have that ever be even a question mark? And I'm not saying that it is, but hey.
That's reality, man.
It is reality.
Yeah.
Some of you have parents that are moving on. I know you're looking at a guy who does, and it's tough. So these are retirement options. How many of you want to keep working? No hands up? Good job. How many of you think it's going to happen in the stock market? Phew. Pension plan. There, want to keep working?
Got one of those.
Don't you want to slap that cowboy fan over there, kind of? How's your pension plan? Only a third of us even have one. And and they're really underfunded in most cases. I mean, most companies aren't offering them anymore either as a way to cut down their overhead. Tell you what, when it comes to Social Security, that's the biggest motivator I have, to go and just do everything I can every day in every way. Because if you saw what my Social Security would be right now, it would pay for my trip over here. But then what about the rest of the month? How many of you are looking at the same stuff? It's certainly not the kind of retirement you had in mind, is it? Yeah, the computers are taking over, or the jobs are being outsourced. This is happening not in the future, it's just already happening. It has been going on for some time. I mean, look at the jobs that go away through computerization or robotics. Entrepreneurs there, huh? Now it's $1 instead of 10 cents. But I still stop and buy it every chance I get. I do. I love to go to kids' lemonade stands. I mean, what a great start. What a great start for a home-based business. And if you want to know the biggest motive of NutriSale, that's it right now. We want you to have your own retirement income. We want you to be in charge of that. That's at the bedrock of NutriSale. And some of you are thinking, oh, I thought the products were the most important part. This isn't a contest. This isn't a popularity contest between products and opportunity. You need to consider them as one. They go together. Any opportunity also carries with it any NutriSale products. Excuse me. This is what you want, isn't it? Okay? You want something that does this all day long, and then you can go travel where you want, huh? You can drive what you want, live where you want, do whatever you want. Even those people, though, that thought this was the way out have had a real earth-shattering experience the last few years, too. The price of fuel is almost in half of where it was going. Now, the oil companies are still doing real good, but boy, those people that were getting rich upon rich upon rich, you should see some of those oil boom towns now. Not so fast.
The Death Star.
Thank you so much, Gary. Residual income. Best kind, huh? Best kind. Maybe we need to find out how good it really is. What's residual income? That's the kind that comes in whether you're working or not, okay? So I guess you could say your Social Security is residual income. You worked all your life to get that. It just comes up so darn short, okay? If you have a big portfolio, a big asset, big nest egg, and you've got interest coming in off of that, that's residual income, okay? That's the kind where you're not messing with the investment. You're just taking the proceeds to live on. Okay, so that's residual income. If you go back to the first page on runtime, how much runtime will that give you right now? Most of us are really short there. We don't have a nest egg to spin off enough income, do we? So maybe it's time for you to do a home-based business. Maybe like you, and maybe like me, and maybe like Chris, and maybe like the Whitneys. Never has it been more important to get your opportunity started, to get your home-based business going. Maybe there's never been a better time. So if you're going to do one of these, if you're going to start a business of your own, which is the best way to go? There's a lot of choices, isn't there? It is. I mean, some people would say that opportunity selection day is like a kid in a candy store, huh? There's so many things. But are there really that many choices? I'm not so sure. You could do this. How many of you want to start a conventional retail business today?
Been there, done that.
Yeah, wouldn't that be neat? Done that? How many of you have done that? Okay, probably. Plus, look who you get to compete with. Want to compete with Amazon today? Not me. Not me. They're bigger than Walmart. Amazing how quickly Amazon took over #1 retailer in the world. Who? Want to be in the franchise business? Well, hey, they're popping up everywhere, aren't they? Why not be part of Poisoning America? I didn't mean it. They're good. Let's go have McDonald's for dinner. It's what's for dinner, isn't it? The fact is a McDonald's franchise would be a minimum price tag of $1.5 million now. And you've got to have at least that much more net worth because they want you to have staying power. There's some other franchises you can get in for less. You could probably find some that for $100,000 or $200,000. We don't have that, do we, folks? We don't have the 100 or 200 grand, do we, to throw into it? If we did, we'd probably already be doing something else. So how about a home-based business? One that can do this. One where you can have a network of satisfied customers everywhere with the technology today, the internet today, the websites today, the Facebook today, the social media today. This, again, huge reality already taking place. In fact, that's why some of the people's incomes are screaming like they are, because this is going on. So do you need a home-based business? Question is just which one. One thing's for sure, no time to be timid right now, folks. This is the wrong time to back off, the wrong time to cocoon. Now's the time to crawl out of there and start to spread your wings. So, welcome to NutriSail. Okay, if you're ready to sail away from the ordinary, then that's why we're here. And by the way, this is this is something that you might or might not find interesting. This PowerPoint presentation that you just watched was created by my brother Daniel Austin 24 years ago. 24 years. Same slides, except for the NutriSail one at the end. 20-some years. I know that most of you thought that we worked that up for these meetings, and we did 20 years ago. Some things haven't changed a lot, have they? Have they? The same people that I talked to in the mid-1990s about this, they have the same issues as you and me, folks. Same ones. Same things. Same questions. Same retirement goals. Same freedom goals. Same thing. Amazing how little this has become dated, too. Now, obviously, it could be spruced up a little. But my brother Dan actually sent this to me about 3 weeks ago. I hadn't seen it in 15 years. Hadn't used it in 15 years. And I could have knocked me over because I went, wow, I've got to show this off because this is why NutriSail, why now? That's what this is. I'm going to, you just need to let me know too whenever we need to take a break at some point. And then we will, but I'm not yet. You guys had your pizza. We'll take a sandbox break here in a minute, okay? I won't leave you hanging too long. My mentality is this, and I encourage you to develop one of these if you want to really scream in our business, and that is understanding that everybody needs a network. Anybody that wants to succeed, anybody that wants to get farther down the road has to have a network. Don't they? Think about it. This is mental preparation here. This is becoming mentally prepped. And keep in mind, you're the ones that have this. You have the grandest opportunity, and you have exclusive marketing rights to it. You don't just have marketing rights to our product. You also have the marketing rights to our opportunity. You're the only one that can let people in. But that starts with now when you see people, when you spot people, when you know people, when you talk to people, what you really should start to understand is that they need some kind of network. Unless they're already affluent and have all of their money made, they need a network. Now, do they all need a Nutricell network? I didn't say that. I didn't say that. If they don't have one right now, they better take a look at Nutricell first. But if you look at any successful person, they already have a network. This gentleman over here, Todd Martin, that spoke earlier, and first of all, he was outrageously good. Thank you for putting a little bit of time into our meeting today, Todd. It was outstanding. And he had some tips that I hope you listen to, especially the part about the IRS. How many of you are tired of the IRS getting their grubby hands on your loot? How many of you are tired of it? Well, then get in networking, for heaven's sakes. The IRS lets you lose money for 5 years before they get suspicious. They do. You don't have to make a ton of money to write a bunch off. That's why people that don't have a lot get more, as they start to learn these things. They do. And I mean, it'll blow some of your minds all of a sudden what you get to do because you have a network going on. Okay? It will. But point here is this. We need to start to understand that everybody needs something. Now, this gentleman, Todd Martin, has a really successful business. Don't you sell a lot of trucks? Is that your major? Is it trucks?
Yeah,
Big trucks. And they go all over and buy them, and people come from all over to buy them from them. And they have a huge trucking network already. That's one reason why this gentleman is really successful, is because they've got their network really well oiled. Okay. Now, are you and I in line to go get a big trucking network? No. I didn't say that the network had to be trucks or this or that. But the fact is that if you're going to get from where you are to where you want to be, you've got to have help. Whenever you need help, that means now you need something that can start to go together and network whatever it is you're going to do finally to the consumer. So that's the other thing. Sometimes we say, boy, everybody needs these products. Everybody needs Beeline. Everybody needs more energy. Everybody needs this. Guess what? Yes, they do. Guess what else everybody needs?
More money.
More money. More money. In fact, if you'll add this up, add all the people who are overweight, and then add to that people who are just not overweight, but just out of energy. Okay. And then add that to people who have other health issues. Add them all together, and you won't quite equal the number of people who have to find a way to earn more money, or they're going to have a lower standard of living. Okay? That's how big for sale our opportunity is. Okay, so everyone needs a network. I would like for you to write that down. Something happens when you write things down yourself. You can hear it, but when you actually write it down yourself, everyone needs a network. If you start to look through network glasses, you're going to find so many outrageous prospects for your business, folks. It'll surprise you. Sometimes you'll go, wow, they do need a network. They do need something. And you might just be the ones to supply it. The myth behind the superstar networker. You ever heard of superstar networkers? Have you? Big shooters. Whales, they call them sometimes. The ones that seem to make all the money. What do they look like?
Odd.
They do look like Todd. What else do they look like? What's your name?
They look like Marcy.
What's your name?
Marcy.
They look like Marcy. Okay, is what they look like. If Todd's doing his job, then they look like Marcy. Want to see a superstar networker? Look at Jim Percival. Okay. Now some of you are thinking, well, we already knew that. Well, I already knew that. We heard about Jim and all the great stuff he's done. Wonder how many Jims you know. How many you do that could be superstar networkers? This is a real superstar because he doesn't go, he doesn't do anything or put out anything that would try to attract attention to what a superstar networker he is. What he does instead is just goes to work for people. He just goes to work for them. You have no idea. And yeah, he does it. He loves his home and he loves his home office. He's just like me that way. I mean, once you get to do this from your home for a while, it's very addictive, folks. It really is. And Jim does, and he gets so much done for so many people. He's the definition of a superstar networker. What about the Whitneys? Yeah, do those look like superstar networkers? They sure do to me. They do to me. And I'll tell you why, because I watch how they treat their people that are working with them. Like family. Family they do. And they respond so well. Suzanne, does that look like a superstar networker? Does to me. Does to me. See, the myth behind the superstar networker is just in some kind of crown that people were born with, and so when they become of age, they become massively effective at networking. How superstar networkers happen is that somebody like Suzanne finds a Nutrisale, which she first gets overwhelmed with the quality of the products, and then says, I can do this. I can do this. And it's time for me to do this. It's time for me to do this for my family and with my family. But now is the time to do this. That's what a superstar networker can look like. So if you are out there thinking that the key to your success is going to be, oh, I've got to find and sponsor a superstar networker, forget about that. You don't know. You don't know. The person that is actively a superstar networker, like a Jim Percival, are untouchable to you. They are. Ones that are already going. How do you think somebody's going to fare if they come and try to get Jim involved in their business?
Ain't gonna happen.
Not going to happen, is it? Won't happen. And that's my whole point, is you're not going to go out there and find somebody that's actively engaged and is a superstar networker that's going to be interested in anything you're doing. That's not how superstar networkers happen, folks. No, they happen to people like you and me that get involved, and then we start to shed all of the stuff that's holding us back so that we can see how powerful we really are. That's how superstar networkers are starting to be born. Do you have to learn to sell? Do you? Now I've got you gun shy now. You're not sure how to answer these.
People don't like salesmen.
Huh?
People don't like salesmen. So you're going to turn people off if you try to sell them.
I think
You
you
gotta
do.
sell some. You have to know how to sell.
You gotta
some.
learn.
Just sell yourself, one.
Yeah.
I think we have some of this going on with that question. I am going to have you know this then. I'm on the other side of this, probably, from what you're saying, Marcy. Okay? I actually disagree. Okay? But from this standpoint, first of all, I believe sales is the most noble profession in the world. Nothing even comes close. I believe that. So if you're asking me what I think of sales, it doesn't get any better. They're the highest paid people in the world. They, on the average, live 3 years longer, and some people still don't know why that is. Some suggest it's because they're able to handle stress so much more, okay? And so these, and also, if you take any company, including a trucking company, and take the sales force away from that, and what do you have left? You have not any work for those 120 people that he's teaching networking to. Because he doesn't need 120 people without a sales force. In fact, you don't need hardly anybody at all. And what am I doing now? I'm trying to get you excited about being involved in the field of sales. That doesn't mean you have to be a sharp angle closer. That doesn't mean you have to be a pressurized person around people and make everything feel uncomfortable. That's not what that means.
No high pressure.
No high pressure.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't let you off the hook from having to grow to the point where you can ask somebody to buy a product that you're so darned convinced of. You still get to do that. Some of you are scared to death to ask those questions. You don't want to ask somebody to buy, and the reason you don't want to ask is you don't want to be rejected. You don't want to hear them say no. You don't, do you? So what we're going to do is just keep sharing. And in fact, I even do this. Instead of that, have them just pull out some more product knowledge and whip on them. That'll solve things, won't it? Sometimes it will solve putting them to sleep, okay? And I know now, and I know we've hit on something here, but do you have to learn to sell? No, you don't have to do anything. You don't. And are we going to become that high-pressured sales company that teaches all the closes? Nope. Our thing's too fun and simple for that. But I am going to do my dead level best to save you so much time on your way to success as we go along, simply by developing some basic sales techniques that will set you free, not only in this, but a lot of other parts of your life too. Okay? I'm tired of seeing people wilt like flowers in heat whenever somebody raises an objection. Tired of that. And somebody says, oh, that's too expensive. Okay, bye now. And that's the way it ends up too many times. When somebody tells me it's too expensive, that tells me they're in. I just need to handle that for them. It really does. We're going to get into objections in a minute because there's about 5 or 6 that almost dominate everything. Network distribution must be given all business considerations. That means you actually have to treat this like it was a big business before it gets big.
Yep.
Okay? I don't even know if you have your own checking account for NutriSale. I don't know if you have your own credit card that you use for this. I don't know if you have business cards that are made up the way you want. We try to give them out with a lot of ways, and they're not very expensive even if you buy them. And I'm not saying that business cards is a make or break thing for you either, but I am saying that when all of a sudden NutriSale becomes important enough for you to start to put NutriSale first, a lot of times in your life, then NutriSale will start to come to you big and fast. Instead of like your hobby, where if there's nothing else going on, then we'll do this today. Okay. And sometimes people treat it like that and still wonder why it's not really cooking for them. Okay. So major business considerations mean that, hey, just like all the trouble you would go to open a brick and mortar store down on Main Street or out on some expensive piece of land, go to that same care when it comes to launching your NutriSale system, including all the ways you're going to advertise, all the ways you're going to get the word out. What are you duplicating? Boy, that's a half a day training right there. What are you duplicating? Sometimes people say, well, are we duplicating? Yep. Every step, every way, every day. If you're building in this business, you're absolutely duplicating. You just want to be careful what you're putting out there. What do you do? People are going to look at you at what they should do. And so, again, you want to take a look at that. But duplication is something that is really, it's ongoing. I mean, it is. That's why people that have good, solid, simple training programs, if they can duplicate, they can move so much faster than people that don't have systems at all. I mean, sometimes if it's I don't really have a system, just kind of figure it out. Okay, now you're duplicating that. They go figure it out yourself plan. Okay, and that does, and it happens a lot because we're not giving it all business considerations. Okay, you know what? I think with the traffic that we have right now, we're going to take that break because we did have lunch. Let's take 10 minutes. Hit that cat box, and then get back in here. We are just getting fired up, folks. Thank you.